Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learner Podcast. I'm Tom, and if you want to sound more natural and confident in English, make sure you subscribe because learning a little every day really helps you improve.
Hi everyone, I'm Anna, and we're happy you're here with us today. Subscribing helps you practice regularly, remember new expressions, and build confidence step by step. Today we're learning English with common idioms.
Idioms are special expressions where the meaning is different from the individual words, and they are very common in daily conversations.
For example, the idiom break the ice does not mean breaking real ice. It means starting a conversation and making people feel more comfortable.
You might say, I told a joke to break the ice on the first day of class.
Another common idiom is piece of cake, which means something is very easy. The English homework was a piece of cake today.
You can practice by talking about your day using idioms. The test was a piece of cake, but speaking in class was hard.
Another useful idiom is under the weather, which means feeling a little sick. I stayed home because I was under the weather.
You can also use idioms to talk about feelings. I was nervous at first, but after talking, I felt better and broke the ice.
A fun activity is to make short stories with idioms. On my first day at work, I was nervous, but my friend broke the ice and the tasks were a piece of cake.
Another idiom you hear often is once in a blue moon, which means something happens very rarely. I eat fast food once in a blue moon.
You can practice by asking questions. What do you do once in a blue moon?
Another common idiom is hit the books, which means to study. I need to hit the books before my exam.
You can connect idioms to school life. I hit the books all weekend, but the exam was still challenging.
Another fun activity is to guess the meaning before checking it. When you hear hit the books, think about what it could mean from the situation.
Idioms are easier to remember when you learn them in context, not alone.
Another idiom is spill the beans, which means to share a secret. My friend spilled the beans about the surprise party.
You can role play with a friend. One person says, "Don't spill the beans," and the other answers, "I won't tell anyone."
Another idiom is cost an arm and a leg, which means something is very expensive. That phone cost an arm and a leg.
You can practice by comparing things. The ticket was cheap, but the food cost an arm and a leg.
Another useful idiom is on cloud nine, which means very happy. I was on cloud nine when I passed my English test.
You can talk about emotions with idioms. I was nervous before the test, but after passing, I was on cloud nine.
A good practice activity is to choose two idioms and make a short conversation.
For example, I need to hit the books tonight.
Don't worry, the test will be a piece of cake.
Learning idioms helps your English sound more natural and more like a native speaker.
And the more you notice idioms in movies, videos, or conversations, the easier they become to understand and use. From another angle, idioms are not only useful for understanding others, but they also help you express your own feelings more clearly in daily life.
Will you use idioms, your English sounds more natural and confident.
One very common idiom is under the weather, which means feeling a little sick or not well.
You can say, "I'm feeling under the weather today, so I might rest at home."
People often use this idiom at school or work when they don't feel well.
Another idiom related to feelings is in high spirits, which means feeling happy and energetic.
For example, she was in high spirits after finishing her English test.
You can practice by comparing two feelings. Yesterday I was under the weather, but today I'm in high spirits.
Moving forward, another useful idiom is hit the books, which means to study seriously.
You might say, "I need to hit the books because I have an exam tomorrow."
This idiom is perfect for students in daily school conversations.
Another idiom connected to learning is learn by heart, meaning to memorize something.
For example, I learned the new vocabulary by heart.
A good activity is to talk about your study habits using these idioms.
I hit the books every evening and learn new words by heart.
As the conversation continues, people also use the idiom at the last minute, meaning very late.
You could say, I finished my homework at the last minute.
This idiom is great for talking about time management.
Another common idiom is cost an arm and a leg, which means something is very expensive.
For example, that English dictionary cost an arm and a leg.
You can practice by talking about shopping experiences.
The book was useful, but it cost an arm and a leg.
Shifting focus a little, another everyday idiom is take it easy, meaning to relax or not worry too much.
You can say, take it easy and speak slowly.
This idiom is often used to encourage someone.
Another encouraging idiom is keep your chin up, which means stay positive.
For example, keep your chin up, your English is improving.
A speaking activity is to encourage a friend using idioms.
Take it easy and keep your chin up when you practice speaking.
Continuing on, another useful idiom is once in a blue moon, meaning something happens very rarely.
You might say, I watch English movies once in a blue moon.
This idiom is great for talking about habits.
Another habit-related idiom is from time to time, meaning sometimes.
For example, I practice speaking English from time to time with my friends.
You can compare them. I don't practice once in a blue moon anymore. Now I practice from time to time.
Next, people often say break the ice, which means to start a friendly conversation.
You can say, telling a joke helps break the ice.
This idiom is very useful for making friends in English.
A role-play activity is to break the ice with a new classmate.
Hi, my name is Anna. Is this your first English class?
Another idiom connected to effort is practice makes perfect, meaning practice helps you improve.
You might say, practice makes perfect, so don't give up.
This idiom encourages learners to continue.
Step by step, learners can also use little by little, meaning slowly but surely.
For example, little by little, my speaking is getting better.
Another useful idiom is get the hang of it, meaning to understand how to do something.
You can say, at first, English was hard, but now I'm getting the hang of it.
A final practice activity is to tell your English learning journey using idioms.
Using idioms in real situations helps you feel more confident and comfortable when speaking English.
At this stage, let's focus on idioms people use when talking about problems and solutions in everyday life.
One very common idiom is have a lot on your plate, which means you are very busy.
You might say, I have a lot on my plate with school and homework.
This idiom is useful when explaining stress or responsibility.
Another helpful idiom is deal with, which means to manage a problem.
For example, I need to deal with my English homework tonight.
A good speaking activity is to describe your busy day using these idioms.
I had a lot on my plate, but I dealt with everything step by step.
In addition, people often say run out of time, meaning there is no time left.
You could say, I ran out of time during the test.
This idiom is perfect for school situations.
Another related idiom is do your best, which means try as hard as you can.
You might say, I didn't finish, but I did my best.
This idiom is very encouraging and positive.
Moving along, another everyday idiom is make a mistake, which means to do something wrong.
For example, I made a mistake in my sentence.
A practice activity is to talk about mistakes without feeling afraid.
I made a mistake, but I learned from it.
On a similar note, people say learn the hard way, meaning you learn from a difficult experience.
You can say, I learned the hard way that I need to study more.
This idiom helps you talk about personal experiences.
Another useful idiom is figure it out, which means to understand or solve something.
For example, I didn't understand at first, but I figured it out.
This idiom is common in daily conversations.
A speaking task is to explain how you solve a problem using idioms.
I was confused, but I figured it out after asking my teacher.
Besides that, people often say ask for help, which means to request assistance.
You might say, I asked for help when I didn't understand.
This idiom shows good learning habits.
Another encouraging idiom is keep going, meaning do not stop.
You can say, keep going, your English is improving.
This phrase is often used by teachers and friends.
Looking at daily routines, another idiom is fall behind, meaning to be late in progress.
For example, I fell behind in my homework last week.
A good follow-up idiom is catch up, meaning to reach the same level again.
I studied on the weekend to catch up.
You can practice by talking about a difficult week using these idioms.
I fell behind, but I caught up by studying every day.
Another everyday idiom is get stressed out, meaning to feel very stressed.
You might say, I get stressed out before exams.
A helpful response idiom is calm down, meaning relax.
Calm down and take a deep breath.
A role-play activity is to help a stressed friend using idioms.
Calm down, do your best, and keep going.
Little by little, using these idioms helps you talk about real problems naturally.
The more you use idioms in real situations, the more confident your English becomes.
Beyond that, idioms are very useful when talking about feelings during difficult moments.
One common idiom is feel under the weather, which means not feeling well.
You can say, I felt under the weather, so I couldn't study well.
This idiom is polite and natural in daily conversation.
Another idiom people use is burn out, meaning to feel very tired after working too much.
For example, I studied too much and felt burned out.
A good speaking task is to describe how you feel after a long day.
I had a lot on my plate and felt burned out.
At times, people say take a break, which means to stop working for a short time.
You might say, I need to take a break before I study again.
This idiom is useful when giving advice.
Another advice idiom is take it easy, meaning relax and don't worry too much.
You can say, take it easy, you will be fine.
This sounds friendly and supportive.
When problems happen, people often say things happen, meaning it's normal to make mistakes.
For example, I missed the bus, but things happen.
This idiom helps you stay positive.
A short activity is to talk about a small problem and respond positively.
I forgot my homework, but things happen, I'll do better next time.
Another idiom is give it a try, meaning try something new.
You might say, I'm nervous, but I'll give it a try.
This is great for speaking practice and confidence.
In school life, people say keep in mind, meaning remember something important.
For example, keep in mind the deadline is Friday.
This idiom is helpful when giving reminders.
Another common phrase is on the right track, meaning you are doing well.
You can say, your pronunciation is on the right track.
This sounds very encouraging.
A classroom activity is to give feedback to a partner using idioms.
You made a few mistakes, but you're on the right track.
Sometimes learning feels difficult, and people say hit a wall, meaning progress stops.
For example, I hit a wall with grammar.
A helpful response idiom is don't give up.
Don't give up. Practice will help.
Moving on, another useful idiom is hit the nail on the head, which means to say something exactly right.
For example, you hit the nail on the head when you explained the grammar rule.
You can practice by giving feedback to a friend. You hit the nail on the head with your answer.
Another idiom is bend over backwards, meaning to try very hard to help someone.
You could say, the teacher bent over backwards to help the students understand.
A role-play activity is to talk about helpful people. My friend bent over backwards to explain the homework.
Another everyday idiom is keep your fingers crossed, meaning hope for good luck.
For example, I have a test tomorrow, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
You can also ask a friend, can you keep your fingers crossed for me?
Another idiom is break the bank, meaning something costs too much money.
You could say, that new phone would break the bank if I bought it.
Another fun activity is to describe shopping experiences using idioms.
I wanted a new game, but it would break the bank, so I waited for a sale.
People also use hit the sack, which means to go to bed.
For example, I'm tired, so I'm going to hit the sack.
You can talk about routines. After studying all evening, I hit the sack at 11 p.m.
Another idiom is call it a day, meaning stop working.
For instance, I finished the homework, so I called it a day.
You can combine idioms in a short story. I bent over backwards to finish my tasks, then hit the sack because I was exhausted.
Another common idiom is cut corners, meaning to do something quickly and carelessly.
You might say, I didn't want to cut corners, so I checked my answers carefully.
Another tip is to practice idioms by sharing real experiences.
Yesterday, I cut corners with my project, and it didn't turn out well.
Another idiom is out of the blue, meaning something happens unexpectedly.
You could say, out of the blue, my teacher gave us extra homework.
A fun activity is to make a mini story using multiple idioms. Out of the blue, I got a call from my friend. We bent over backwards to plan a trip, and it was a piece of cake to have fun together.
Another useful idiom is pull someone's leg, meaning to joke with someone.
You might say, don't worry, I'm just pulling your leg.
You can practice joking with friends. Are you serious? No, I'm pulling your leg.
Another idiom is sit tight, meaning wait patiently.
For example, sit tight while I check the results.
You can also practice giving advice with idioms. Sit tight and don't worry. Everything will be fine.
Finally, if you enjoyed learning idioms today, make sure to share this podcast with friends, classmates, or anyone learning English. Leave a comment telling us your favorite idiom or one you want to practice more, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Sharing helps others practice, commenting gives you a chance to use English, and subscribing keeps you motivated to improve every day.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing idioms, try them in your daily life, make mini stories, use them with friends or family, and we'll see you next time on the English Learner Podcast.